Tonight, a local legal expert has theorized that the state's inability to fix deficiencies in the justice system is the root of the crime situation. A St. Lucian conflict resolution trainer has prescribed mediation to address the crime problem here, days after a murderous crime spree in Vieux-Fort. And the island's Minister for Education continues to stress that safety in schools is a priority for the government.
This is the Hot 790 News with Daniela Edwin.
Good evening. It is Wednesday, March 15th, 2023. I am Daniela Edwin. Welcome to the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. We are on Flow Channel 117, Kiss FM, the Caribbean Hot FM mobile app, and the Caribbean Hot 7 TV Facebook page. Not forgetting those of you using the Hot 7 plug and play antenna, thank you for joining us. The state's inability to fix deficiencies in the justice system is again being listed as a main contributor to increasing crimes. Just this week, the Prime Minister chided experts who lamented that the recent gun violence in Vieux-Fort is partially the result of a broken judiciary. Attorney Lorraine Deborah Glass says there is a basic correlation between acts of violence and the pace of justice, which must be addressed, or the problem with murders will worsen. She also warned enacting tougher legislation will not help, as the gunslingers don't care. Shannon LeBon chronicled her advice and opinion in this extended report.
You've seen her face and heard her voice on national issues. Now Attorney Lorraine Deborah Glass is setting the record straight.
It's not my responsibility to report crime. It's not your responsibility to report crime. The state has a responsibility to take care of its citizens and do what is necessary. The state, the administration, the executive, that is their responsibility, including the police. But if they don't fund the police can't do anything. How do you think the police feel when they arrest a couple guys, throw them in there, and they out on the street doing the same thing all over again? How will the police react? They can't be bothered. The
legal expert is of the opinion the recent crime spree appears to be an escalation of the deficiencies in the justice system. According to her, people are no longer prepared to wait years or indefinite periods for justice in St. Lucia. She says by their actions, people are demanding justice now.
Justice must be seen to be done. And if the regular Joe Blow on the road cannot see that their matters are being taken care of, that the perpetrators are being dealt with, they will take matters into their own hands, and that is what is happening now.
The senior counsel was speaking following a town hall meeting to explore changes coming to the justice system. She has warned that St. Lucia is in for major problems if the court system, and specifically the backlog of cases, is not addressed. The attorney advises that the ascension to the Caribbean Court of Justice, CCJ, will not help the crime reality plaguing St. Lucia.
That's not going to help our system one bit. We need to deal with the lower courts. Unless that is done, we have a major problem. We have to have police stations, we have to fund the police, fund the local judiciary, and if that is not done, the problem will persist. We cannot be dealing with the Supreme Court when the lower court is not being dealt with.
Her opinion on enactment of tougher gun laws is much the same. They too will not solve the problem. She says the shooters behind the trigger on murder scenes appear to have nothing to lose.
The guys out there who are using the firearms really don't give a hoot. They don't care. They have nothing to live for. They will use their firearms anyway. That's their protection. They will use it. And it doesn't matter what bills. In fact, they don't even know that there's an amendment. We talk about it, yes, but the guys don't know and they don't care. It doesn't matter to them.
The attorney at law wants the government to get serious about its obligation to maintain law and order. She says law enforcement requires serious investment and must never be tokenized.
If last year they provided 10 vehicles, this year they're providing another 10. Zero, the sum of it all is 10. Because the 10 that they used last year running up and down and bagging all over the place, they no longer exist. So we talk about pumping resources. It's to replace what's there. How much money are they putting over and above what is needed? What is really required to refund what is already there?
Her advice to help out the crime problem is simple: ensure the justice system works. For the Hot 7 TV News, I'm Shannon LeBon.
Conflict resolution is again a hot-button issue on the heels of the violent crime spree, which appears to have subsided in recent days. Experienced mediator and conflict trainer Urban Dolo says, despite the severity of the crimes committed, mediation can bring peace. However, he says even before mediation, people must find ways to better manage and solve conflict. Dolo was a guest Wednesday on Crime Watch during Good Morning St. Lucia.
For many years, St. Lucians have been preached to find better ways to resolve and or manage conflict. But how do you resolve a conflict which has resulted in the death of someone you love, someone as close as a mother or father? Experienced mediator and conflict trainer Urban Dolon explains conflict resolution is never easy, especially in circumstances where lives have been lost. According to him, warring factions must be prepared to make the necessary compromise and compensation to ameliorate the problem with a common understanding of the implications of their individual actions on their own interests.
Sometimes you may find that in a dispute, neither side can tell you when the dispute actually started. And if you don't know where the dispute started, it would be extremely difficult to come to a point where you both can realize what your interests are and to what extent your interest is being negatively affected by your own actions. Okay, so you take the matter of a situation where people have been killed. Surely, it is important for the parties in the dispute to understand that you cannot keep killing forever. Because all it means is that I kill your cousin this week, you're going to kill my cousin next week. Then it keeps going on and on and on, and all that's happening is people are dying.
The law says as St. Lucia hopes for sustained peace, there is benefit in engaging leaders of warring gangs. He says there are key members in the community and wider society who can bring the disputing factions together using established mediation techniques.
If we can get communication skills enhanced throughout our society, then we will have a significant reduction in the number of disputes that occur within our community, and by extension, matters will not get to the point where we think that the only way to deal with a dispute is to eliminate another person.
Individuals requiring mediation support for various matters can seek qualified help through the registrar of the court, even though such matters may not be before the court. For the Hot 7 TV News, I am Shannon LeBon.
Although schools in the Vieux-Fort South area have returned to the normal operations, Education Minister Sean Edward affirms that student and administrator safety remains paramount. To this end, the minister reveals that education officials are in constant dialogue with the Royal St. Lucia Police Force to prioritize security. Additionally, following the carnage which ensued over the 3 days, Edward encourages educators to be empathetic with students.
An unprecedented spike in violence in Vieux-Fort South last week forced the closure of several learning institutions located in the town on Friday, March 10. This protective measure was taken by the Ministry of Education to reduce bloodshed and ensure the safety of students and administrative staff. The doors to these schools were reopened on Monday, 13th March, amidst what appeared to be the pacification of the rampant shootings. Education Minister Sean Edward details that these two critical decisions were guided by the advice of the Royal St. Lucia Police Force.
The safety and the security measures, those are in the remit of the police. And it is only after we have had consultations and dialogue with the police that we arrive at some of the decisions we made, in particular to reopen schools on Monday as opposed to the closure we had on Friday.
Education Ministry officials on Monday participated in solidarity visitations to schools in the affected areas. This was done in an effort to assure principals, students, and staff that the police were doing everything in their power to arrest the situation and bring about a state of normalcy. Edward passionately asserts that he will always be ready to sacrifice a day of school to avert a crisis.
We take the safety and security of staff and students very, very seriously. I'm on the record as stating previously that I have no difficulty as the Minister of Education to forego a day of school or a week of school if that is the measure that we have to take to ensure the safety and security of students.
Recognizing that staff and students may still be traumatized by the carnage which ensued this past week, Edward urges educators to employ alternative strategies when conducting classes this week.
I did say to the teachers that this week they must really see the child even before they see the student. The student is somebody who walks into the classroom with a bag of books and with instructional material to learn. That ought not to be the priority this week. But instead, let us reach out to students who have lost loved ones. Let us reach out to students who live in the immediate vicinity of the different crime scenes, and to just give them the assurance that as teachers, as educators, and as a government by extension, that we are there for them, and that we will provide all the necessary support, create the enabling environment for them to be able to thrive again.
The Education Minister articulates that in any event the anarchy rises again, there will be no hesitation to suspend school operations. Reporting for the Hot 7 TV News, I am Kareem Nelson.
You're watching the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. Still to come on the broadcast. Government announces plans to invest $4 million for the rebuilding of a new temporary detention holding facility. And St. Lucia joins the international community in observance of World Consumer Rights Day. Stay tuned for the details to these and other stories when we return.